speaks.
Right, welcome back to Business. My name is Simbalaja Charles here again. Good. So let's talk about exactly what it is that we're supposed to talk about this morning. Now, business, especially in the Kenyan economy, is actually being tilted towards what the government thinks is the bigger pillar in the Kenyan economy. And I'm talking about the youth in Kenya. Now, majority of them will tell you are probably unemployed, and the government actually churns out a lot of graduates each year from universities that either end up unemployed or take longer periods to get employed. Now, but this morning, we're talking about another perspective, therefore. We're looking at the youth that actually probably will not find themselves probably in school, or in some other way they find themselves in streets. Now, we do know that there are foundations across the economy that actually are geared towards coming up with solutions for some of these youth in unfortunate positions in the economy. Now, you're going to know that there are success stories that actually come out of that. And this morning, I am fortunate to talk to Joseph Njoroge. So we're going to talk about his transformational story all the way from the street to a businessman. What a day it's going to be here on Metropole Television. Good. All right. And we're actually going to look at it from the perspective of motivational speaking. Joseph Njoroge.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good.
Karibu sana Metropole TV.
Asante.
Yes. So I really want us to dive deep into whatever it is that you're doing. When we talk about the Global Hope and Rescue Center, you are in that as a motivational speaker, aren't you? Yes. And so when you actually speak to most of the guys, what are you targeting to get them to realize?
I first of all, let me say I'm Joseph Njoroge.
Yes.
I'm also the founder and I'm the CEO of the same project.
Yes.
A Global Hope Rescue and Rehabilitation Center. It was founded back in 2013. First it was a football club, later it turned to a rescue and rehabilitation center. We realized that most street kids and young men are disadvantaged, and they have a lot of potential that has never been discovered whatsoever.
Yes.
They see people working, they see people going to jobs, they see people doing businesses, but some of them might have that thing and passion in them, but nobody realizes what they can do. In Global Hope Rescue Center, these boys come and they find hope. First of all, we rescue them. The first business, which is not just business, is just making sure that they are not in the street anymore.
Yeah.
They have a home, they can call a home. And after putting them into education, other things come. We talk to them in building their lives in future, such that after some years, they are going to be self-reliant and people who can be reliable in our community.
Yes.
So they are boys who now realize that they can take care of chicken, and we support that.
Yes.
There are others who take care of pigs, others take care of even dogs and pigeons.
Yes.
And you know, boys are animal friendly. So even bunnies, rabbits,
Yes.
and even beadwork, like they make a lot of Maasai kits and everything. And it's good to generate some small income to support them, maybe pay water, electricity bills, school
Yes.
fees and other stuff. And they're doing very good because it's out of their their sweat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your main focus really to talk into these boys and sort of tell them there's something that you can do
Yes.
for money, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
But therefore, you realize that you really have to impact some business skills into them, especially
Yes.
when you're getting a street kid who
Yes.
pretty much has lost hope in life.
Yes.
So can you talk to me about the journey? Yes, it's not just about talking to them, the rescue mission, and then identifying that this one, in as much as you can see, this one is actually savable.
Yeah.
And can sort of get that training that I need to sort of get him into this business, other than just the talking perspective and
Yes.
sort of giving them hope in life.
Okay, let me say, first of all, my past has been a street boy.
Yes.
I started my journey as a street boy in Eldoret.
Yes.
And later it ended in Nairobi here, when I was from 9 years to about 13 years is
Yes.
when I came to Nairobi, and I stayed for about three and a half years. It was not an easy journey, and I felt the same thing that these street kids face.
Yes.
Rejection, neglection, lacking families, lacking house, lacking, everything.
Yes.
And my first mission as a mentor of street children mentor is to reach them and to make sure I build a good relationship with them such that they can trust me.
Yes.
And after trusting me, I'm able to get deep into them individually and realize what they have. In fact, I cannot realize what they have before being close to them.
Yes.
So first of all is to build trust in them, and in that we become friends. After we become friends, we trust each other, and I'm in a position to bring them to one place.
Yes.
Because I cannot realize most of what they do when they are in the street.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to be out of this environment and
then
come to another environment.
That's when you introduce them to another environment.
Some of them open up.
Yes.
And they say, for sure, I like this. For sure, I like this. Some say, I can try this.
Yes.
And with that, we motivate them, and we encourage them to do it better. And they start slowly by slowly, and they start growing.
And then they start growing.
Yeah.
So but these commercial projects, therefore, that you actually introduce them, do they get to pick these projects by themselves, in the sense that you get to expose these projects to them, especially after taking them through these talks and trainings, and then after that they get to pick their own, therefore, and then say, I think I like this, or I don't like what is here.
Yeah.
What happens to those that then you realize, well, they've got just more potential than just getting into chicken, getting into dogs and all that? Do you expose them to further trainings and projects as well?
Let me start by saying I first deal with children.
Yes.
But boys, those are minors, below 18 years.
Below 18 years.
And up to maybe 10. Then we have above 18.
Yes.
There are some young men, like we have a boy called Mustafa.
Yes.
Mustafa is about 16 years. Mustafa is a genius in making Maasai beadwork. Yeah? And when he does those things, and when we have, it's a charity organization, but when visitors come, we normally display those kind of things.
Yes.
And people really want to buy them. And Mustafa is already started learning to do accounts by himself,
Yes.
such that he has a book, a ledger. When he's selling those kind of materials, he normally writes them down. Then he can go to the bank and queue and deposit that money to separate account that can take care of those things. And he's so young.
That's good potential, isn't it?
And he has a team of about 7 boys who are all minors, 15, 13, and they all work as a team on weekends after schools. When they are not in school, they come together and they do those things.
Yes.
However, we have a boy called George Makori. That boy stopped school in Form 2, and the parents died, and he went to the streets. And he stayed for about 4 years. He lost hope in life. But when he came to us after rescue, we noticed some potential in him. He started going to the market and carrying luggages to people, and he was given 20 shillings and what have you. And later, he came to me and told me, I think I can do some business, because I used to sell even cigarettes in the street.
Yes.
So I could also sell drugs in the street, and people could buy, and I could make a lot of money.
Yes.
But now I feel so broke when I'm here. So what if we start some small business, and I want to support myself and also remember this center. So I gave him 5,000 to start business for selling fish, only 3 years ago. And now he has already employed about 8 people.
Interesting, isn't it?
And he donates to the rest of his brothers at the Global Hope Rescue Center.
Yes.
And sometimes he comes with 2 bundles of flour. He does like CSR.
Yes.
And he's alone.
Yes.
So the other day he told me he wants to marry, and he's also getting married to a business lady. So I can't imagine what kind of business expansion is going to be.
That's already a success story in the making, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I know we're going to talk. We're going to talk to some of your partners this morning. But just even before we get there, so when you look at your rescue center as it is right now, and you're actually dealing with these boys that you think have got this potential to grow themselves business-wise, I mean, get some sort of resources running among themselves. Where do you see this place in the next few years? Are you hoping to transform it further, accommodate more, isn't it?
That's a very good question. Like, for example, when you see, I have a t-shirt.
Yes.
This was an idea from some boys. It's called Global Hope Rescue and Rehabilitation Center.
Yes.
This is the project that I run. Behind is written, I'm committed to support street child. So the boys told me, instead of going every time to people and asking for food and asking for money, it's very difficult for people to, why can't we design some t-shirts and some handwrits so that we can also sell to people and we can generate money? And today I can tell you, this t-shirt that I'm having is all over the world. We have it in Canada, we have it in Germany, we have it in Czech Republic, we have it in Australia, we have it in, and people buy in bulk like 200 t-shirts and some wristband written, I'm committed to stand with street children.
Yes.
So and that is the kind of training we want. We also have some boys who do like tailoring at the center. So one boy is an expert in doing, and with that, some people, even my friends, come there and they bring their clothes to be made, and they also generate. So that means in future we are going also to, the kind of street, when the boys are in the street, is totally mess, because we lost lives there. And they are useless when they are there. But when they have something they can do, they are also building economy, which also will also help other people. They are also going to employ people.
Yes.
You can imagine if George was taking glue in the street and now he's employed 8 people, and it's only 2 years. You can imagine after 10 years,
now we'll be
and
talking
all
more,
those
yes.
years, those old boys, right now I have a capacity of 120
yes.
former street kids.
Yes.
You can imagine if all those can be able to do something and employ maybe even 10 people each.
Yes.
What kind of economy we are going to build in our nation. So people don't understand, but we can also use them to do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the second last question, just before we bring in one of your partners this morning.
Yes.
So when it comes to actually impacting these boys in terms of their lives, get them busy, get them busy in the sense that they're doing something that would also improve their finances at the end of the day. Do you find yourself taking so much time, therefore, talking to them about management of finances? At the end of the day, you gotta understand, you gotta use this for this. Once we make this goes here and there. Because I think for somebody, therefore, who's not passed through, let me say, sort of a formal education system, therefore, little things like managing your finances, knowing how to save as well, and also growing this little enterprise that you have here actually makes sense now to this person when they know that this is the only place that I gotta turn to make this money from.
Putting in mind that that group is a special category, let me call it, they're a special group. Dealing with them is not easy. I have done a lot of research, and I have engaged the community at large. I'm not a business person as such,
yes.
from the word go, but because of what I've seen in those boys, it has drawn me to admire it even more.
Yes.
So I've also engaged people who know life skills.
Yes.
And people come and they, like weekly basis, monthly basis, and every time people come and talk to these boys, and they keep on realizing themselves. But sometimes they're not patient.
Yes.
But they have to be told that after this, you have to do this in their own style.
In their own style.
Not like forcing and telling them, you have,
Yes.
let them do it in their own way. Then when you encourage them, do it more. So they do it perfectly with the support of other people, and also motivating them every time by talking to them and telling them what, like these business people like Manu Chandaria, those people. We tell them those people started from the scratch. And when you start here, you only put records of your achievement.
Yes.
And they take it very positive, and
yes.
they do it more.
Interesting, isn't it? Okay, and the last question there and I want you to talk to me from the sense that we need to understand therefore what the problem is, isn't it? Because you're now having to rescue these boys from the streets.
Yes.
I want you, do you think that we've done really enough to get these boys out of the street as a government? Because over the other side, the government is preaching about free education, is preaching about getting all the kids educated. It's a basic right. And we do know the government will actually arrest you for leaving your kid out on the streets. Do you think that we've done enough? And if we haven't, what do we expect from the Global Hope and Rescue Center in the couple of years?
It's a very tricky question. The government says there is free education, which is true. In a way, it's true. But this kid needs the government doesn't provide school uniform.
I see that.
The government in some schools don't provide stationaries, textbooks.
Yes.
The other schools, you need to pay like desk, especially primary school.
Yes.
You need to pay money for exam. Some schools you pay money for lunch, because I do those things and I know. I don't know how it feels to say that there is free education to a child who lives in the street without parents.
Yes.
So these kids need an allocation. He needs to be allocated somewhere.
Yes.
In a center or in a family that he can have a home. Otherwise, we cannot have free education without a home.
Yes.
So if you are taken to school, from the street to school, where are you going to eat? Where are you going to live? Where are you going to take shower? And what have you, all those things. So there is a lot of things that are needed to be done in regarding to street children. If really we need to say anything about education, progress, like future of education in Kenya, we also need to see the family matters and family issues of the children. What are the reasons that makes these kids not to go to school? What makes them to go to the street?
Yes.
Then after that, we need to sort the family issues first before we start sorting educative issues first. So, and that is the thing that Global is doing.
Yes.
We are sorting family issues first. So if you lost your parent and maybe your father got married to another wife who did not take care of you, are you able to go and settle in that family? That's why we give shelter to such children.
Yes.
And as we give them education and other stuffs, we also train them some other skills like small businesses that can help them become reliable in future.
Yes.
So I'm seeing Global Hope Rescue becoming a very big influential project in the entire nation and even the whole of Africa, if we continue in the same spirit and the kind of support we are receiving from the community and the public at large.
Joseph,
Yeah.
thank you very much for joining us here on Metropole Television.
Thank you.
I know we're going to talk to some of your partners shortly.
Yes.
We're going to talk about this book that actually talks about your story. And actually from there, we're going to see lessons on exactly what triggered the author to actually talk about the story from the street straight to a businessman. And then later speak to some of the representatives from Moran who are going to talk to us as to what triggered them to be interested into the story. We take that short break. Once we come back, we continue the conversation.